This is a recording for Algebra 1, Day 16, multiplying integers and fractions. In this lesson, students will just multiply integers and fractions. These are the big picture ideas. When you are multiplying two numbers and the sign, each number will have its own sign. When the signs are the same, then you always know that they're positive. Even if it's a positive times a positive, it's going to be a positive answer. If it's going to be a negative times a negative, it's a negative answer. The opposite is true too. So if you have different signs, positive times a negative or negative times a positive, the answer is always negative. So working through some examples, when we do this, we want to make sure we use these steps here. So you should take probably a moment just to pause the video and write these down so that you have them in your notes, something to come back to. These are the steps. If you don't have a fraction, you should just skip down to step 3. So continuing here, number 1, 20 times a negative 4. We have a positive 20. This is not a fraction, so I'm going to go to step 3. I'm going to determine if I have the same or different signs. I have different signs because there's a positive and a negative. So positive times a negative, it's going to be a negative answer. And then 20 times 4 is 80. So the answer is negative 80. Okay. Next one, 1/2 times negative 1/3. This is a fraction. So first thing you want to do is make sure I convert any mixed numbers to improper fractions. These are already just regular fractions, no mixed numbers. Next thing you want to do is you want to figure out, check if I could cross cancel. Check each denominator. So can 2 be reduced into 1 or with 1, or can 3 be reduced with 1, or 3 be reduced with 1 here? So nothing could really be reduced here, so you multiply this positive times a negative, which is going to be a negative answer. I'll actually put it over here. It's easier to deal with over here. So it's going to be a negative answer, positive times a negative, and you do numerator times numerator, which is 1, denominator times denominator, which is 6. So negative 1/6 is your answer here. Continuing on here. Number 3. Same thing as before. We have a negative. Sorry about that. You have a negative times a negative number, so negative times a negative, same sides. We're going to multiply, and then it's going to be a positive answer. 3 times 5 is 15. Continuing on here. Number 4, we have a negative times a positive this time. Now on this example, you're going to notice that the numbers we could simplify. So step 2, we need to see if we could cross cancel or simplify. So start with each denominator. Can something go into both 7 and 4? Ask yourself that. No, it can't. So let's try the other numerator. Can something go into both 7 and 21? Yeah, 7 goes into both of them. 7 goes into 7 1 time. 7 goes into 21 3 times. Go to the next denominator. Does something go into 28 and 3? No. How about 28 and 4? Yeah, but 4 goes into both 28 and 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now we have two numbers here. We have negative times a positive. So negative times a positive will be a negative answer. 1 times 3, numerator times numerator is 3. Denominator times denominator is 7. So negative 3/7 is your answer here. Okay. Continuing on, number 5. These are now mixed numbers, so they get a little bit more tricky. So number 5. What you need to do first is convert these into improper fractions. So we have a 2 and a 2 as a whole number. So 2 is our denominator, so you multiply 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So you write 5 in the numerator, and you keep your denominator of 2 in this first fraction. Also make sure you bring down the sign. It doesn't look like there's a sign, so we know it's positive. Then do the same thing with the other one. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. Okay, check my signs. Positive times a positive is going to be a positive answer. Cross cancel or reduce. This is step 2. I'm going a little out of order here. So Check with 2. 2, does it go into 5? Anything go into both 2 and 5? Nope. Does anything go into both 2 and 10? Yeah, 2 goes into both of these. So you could cancel 2, make it a 1. 2 goes into 10 5 times. You can multiply 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 3 is 3. Now we're almost done. Now we have to simplify. We don't really like improper fractions in math, so what you have to do is a side problem. It doesn't really matter where you do it on your paper. Side problems are the best thing you could do sometimes, because sometimes in your head you usually make mistakes when you're not practiced enough. You don't practice enough on it. 3 goes into 25 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, you get remainder of 1. So use the whole number, which is 8. That's going to be your whole number. Remainder of 1 on the numerator, keep your denominator, which is 3. 8 1/3 is your answer here. Okay? Number 6. Number 6. Here we go. Improper fraction. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Over 3, keep the negative sign. Multiply. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 17. Bring down the negative sign, over 4. Now we have a negative times a negative, which is going to be positive. 11 times 17 is going to be a side problem. So we don't know how to do that in our heads. At least I don't. I'm not that great of a math teacher. I'm pretty good, but I still do side problems, which means you should be doing side problems. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 1 is 7. Bring down to 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them together, you get 7, 8, 1. It's 187. So I'm actually going to erase this, but I know it's 187, so put that right here. Okay, denominator, 3 times 4 is 12. Now we don't like this again, so we have to do a side problem. 187 divided by 12, which is going to be just a side problem. 187 divided by 12. It goes into 12 goes in 18 one time. Subtract, you get 6. Bring down to 7. Goes in 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60. Subtract, you get 7 again. That's your remainder. So your answer is going to be a positive, of course. We know that. Whole number is 15 and 7/12. There's your answer. Okay? So this is how you do multiplying integers and numbers. Now you can, if you have any other number, like if you even have a decimal, let's just say we had a decimal as a problem, then you would do it as normally. You would say positive 2.03 times negative 0.15. If this is a problem, then you would just you would do the same steps. Positive times a negative is going to be a negative answer, and then you're going to multiply a side problem just like you remember. This is a skill you should have already, but you multiply it. You don't even have to line up the decimals. This one lines up the decimals, but it doesn't matter really. 5 times 3, 15. Add 1 there. 5 times 2 is 10. Add a 0. 3, 0, 2. Add them up. We got 5, 4, 0, and 3. Move the decimal point over 4 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you bring that up here as your answer. It's going to be negative 0.3045, or 3,045 10,000ths. Okay? This concludes our lesson.